Hi, this is Scruffy Teddy with a short tutorial on using the sweep tool in ProDesktop. The key is that we need two sets of lines. One is a profile and one is a path. And ideally, well, they have to be on different planes. To see those different planes, the ones that exist normally, if I select this tool here on the right hand side, you'll see that I can see all three work planes that the three-dimensional shape or area consists of. If I double click on any of these work planes, you can see what they are. This is frontal, and we've got lateral, and then the base work plane, which we'll start on. If I draw a profile on here, I'll do a 24mm diameter circle. That I'll count as my profile. It will have automatically called it initial. In fact, if I show you that, if I select lines and double click on it, you can see in the properties of that line it says initial, and it's on the base work plane. I could change it if I wanted to, but at the moment I'm going to leave that there. I'm now going to do a new sketch, and I find the easiest way to do this is to use the drop-down menu from the work plane section and draw a new sketch here. This time I'm going to put it onto the frontal work plane. I'm going to call it, instead of calling it sketch 1, I'm actually going to change the name. I'm going to call it path. And you can see now how the shape has changed. The viewpoint has changed. I find it easier to view onto work plane here. You can see that that circle now becomes just the edge of it. For some reason the path tool works most effectively if the initial line from which the profile is moving is at 90 degrees, and the easiest way to do this is to press shift on the keyboard, keeps everything straight, and I'm going to come up by 80mm. I'm going to go across by another 150 and then back down again. You can see a sort of handle shape appearing, like so. Okay, we're ready. The tool that we need to use, the sweep tool, is down here. Looks like a bent bit of pipe. And because I was on the path, that was the last thing I drew, it assumes that that's the one that I want to use as the profile. I'm going to swap these around. So the profile was the initial drawing, the circle, and the path now becomes path. I'm going to add material, and we can come back to this and play with the thin tool in a second. And there we go. It basically sweeps that along there. Now we can change things. For example, that's a pretty pointy handle. Let's round off those corners. If I select the arc or fillet tool, select this top line, goes red, select the one on the right hand side and click and drag, I can put a radius. Now you can see it's quite difficult to get a specific radius, a very accurate one here. It doesn't snap to grid very easily. The best way to do this, if I fix that line by selecting it and clamping it down, doing the same with this line here, clamping it, I can now add a dimension or sketch a dimension onto that radius tool. Now I'll need to select it, so if I try to click it now, it's basically going to try and sketch a dimension between that line and the one I'm touching. So I need to select that radius, sketch the dimension from that radius, and at the moment it's got a diameter of 47. I'll change that to 50, and it has done that. Now I could do the whole process again, but I'm going to use this opportunity to show you another tool, which is the mirroring tool. But I'll leave that for the next lesson. Play. Oh, let me show you what happens when I update it. So the next time I'm going to show you the mirror tool. Why don't you play with revolve and sweep?